Well, hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a hot mess. I have been doing stewed tomatoes since yesterday. I did it for like 9-10 hours yesterday. I have canned up 60 quarts of stewed tomatoes, and I've got one last batch to do, and I thought, you know what, I'll just share that with you. My daughter brought me 3 bushels of tomatoes. Beautiful tomato. Look at the size of these tomatoes. I saved this one for sandwich tomatoes. Beautiful. So, what I'm doing is dicing them up because I like my tomatoes diced. You know, not great big chunks. Also, I'm going to show you what I do with the skins. Nothing, the only thing that I don't use is the cores, and I've cored all that out, and that goes to the chickens. The cores, but I save my, you can look in here, I don't know if you can see, it's pretty dark. Let me turn my light on. Brighten it up a little bit. You can see, let's get to where you can see it. There you go, in the light. Tomato skins. I save those because I grind them up and I use them for thickening. Sometimes I dry them and make them into a paste. Excuse me. Sometimes I dry them and make them into a powder, and then I use them for a thickener. Other times I just freeze it, or I freeze them in ice cube trays. Perfect idea. But I thought, well, I'll share this with you how I do this. I do believe I already have, I like that setup there. I got my cutting board right over my big old stock pot, and it's getting filled up, and I'll show you. Boy, I was so tired last night, I think I collapsed. I don't even remember my head hitting the pillow. After I got out of the shower, I crawled in my bed, and that was the end of that day. I was so tired from doing all these tomatoes. But bless my husband, he's been home. Let me get that out there. He's been home for a few days because his truck is in the shop, and he's been helping me with quite a bit of it. He hauled my jars all up, and he's done the chicken chores. He's done all kinds of stuff for me. I'm so happy. After I get this done, then I'm going to be busy. I got to do some baking for the market stand. Oh my goodness. Lots of stuff. I'm still selling stuff like crazy out there. I sell breads, mostly baked stuff now because my garden is all done. There's nothing left out there. I've went through all the tomatoes already. I mean, I might have a few tomatoes on the stand, but nothing major. I had a lot of sauce tomatoes. I think I wound up canning about 40 quarts of sauce tomatoes. So I did a lot, and I grew all those. Those are all my San Marzano. I had a few plants that were Romas, but most of them were the San Marzano. I just love them. I'll grow them every single year. They are wonderful. And I don't blanch those when I do my sauce tomatoes. I mean, you've seen the video. All I do is just, I grind them all up because the skins hold a lot of nutrients, and also the skins are perfect for thickening. So that sauce, when I cook it down, it gets so nice and thick and just beautiful. Love the stuff. These tomatoes are gorgeous. If I had more land and more area, I'd probably grow nothing but tomatoes and green beans, because it seems like that's all we really use. The rest of it I grew. I sold a lot. I sold a lot of flowers. I gave a lot away. I had fun with it. My market stand is nice, and I'll tell you, it's a really nice way to make a little extra, cash. And I made quite a bit, really. Honestly, I made enough. It well more than paid for the tent that I bought for it, and it has well more than subsidized my seeds for next year. Plus I got extra, just, for my work. So it really did really well, and I was very pleased. Oh, these tomatoes peel. I just peel them off. Real easy. They just slip right off. My husband's been blanching these for me. Bless his heart. Anyway, so it's been busy around here the last couple days. I'm still excited. I cannot wait to get my freeze dryer in. And I am, these skins, I ground up. All of them that I did yesterday, I ground them all up. We put them in a Ziploc bag, and my husband put them in the freezer because when the freeze dryer comes in, we'll, of course, then we'll thaw them out, and then we'll freeze dry them. And I'm sure they'll do beautiful. It's kind of nice when, you know, if you run out of tomato paste or you need tomato paste for a recipe, you don't have any, you just go to the cupboard, you know, and get your tomato powder and you're good to go. So if you blanch your tomatoes, save your skins. They're wonderful. They're all nice and clean, you know. There's no dirt, no spots on them. Any of the spots I already cut off when I cored them, so they turn out really good. Okay, we'll cut these up. I had to turn that back on. I got these, I turned the burner back on for my husband to blanch them, so while that's heating up, I'll get these sliced up so I can get caught up. I don't think I have too many more. I don't got, I'll probably well more than fill this big old pan. And inside I've got onions, the Vidalia onions. They were given to me. My friend, actually my neighbor and my friend, gave me a 25-pound box, and I dehydrated quite a few of them, and I thought I'll just chop up the rest of them. I'll put them in the freezer and save them for when I do tomatoes. So I got that. Well, my daughter bought the extra garlic, so I didn't have any cost in that, and she got the tomatoes. The celery I grew, so really the only thing I got into this is my time, and that I get to share in on it because I'm putting all the work into it. So, but definitely we're going to wind up with about 90 quarts of tomatoes. Pretty close. And I got this other knife that Heidi gave me. Bless her heart. But when I cut with this, it's got the serrated edges on it, and it sticks to my cutting board, so I got to use my smooth one. But I love that. I'll tell you what, if I had a different cutting board, I'd be able to use that real easy with this. But I do use that knife quite a bit. And no, I don't crush these up. I like them diced. Like when you open a can of diced tomatoes. I love them diced. They're nice that way. It's getting pretty. It's about halfway, if that. And I already got all my onions. Whoa, I almost got my finger. I already got all my onions and celery and garlic in there. My husband and I peeled all that garlic yesterday, and I chopped it with the Vidalia chopper. We were busy yesterday. Makes me think of when I was 30. I would have whipped this out. I would have stayed up half the night, had it done, because I've been canning for a long time. And but you know, 30 years old, you got the energy to do it. Not when you're 55. You start running out of steam. You can do it, but not that long. So I finished up processing this morning because I didn't sleep that long. And as soon as I got up, I turned that canner on and got busy again. So I don't want none of these to go to waste. And I had like 2 batches to run this morning, so I'll get these done up and run these. But I do it in stages. I don't like a big mess in my kitchen. I gotta have everything clean and organized. I guess maybe I'm neurotic that way. I don't know. I can't have a big mess. I can't have a big unorganized mess. So when I do my tomatoes, I do it in steps, like I'm doing right now. I fill this thing, and then it's gonna stew on the stove for about, 15, 20 minutes. Well, longer than that, because it has to come up to, boiling. So that will take a while. Well, when it's doing that, then I'll go ahead and I'll just wash some more jars up. My husband brings them up from downstairs, get them sanitized. I stick them in the oven, get them nice and hot. And they're not necessarily hot when I fill them, but they are sanitized. So I get all that done, and then I start, I fill the jars, and then I start processing them as I go. So, works for me. I think this is the way I've done it my entire life. And I didn't always used to dice these tomatoes. I used to just kind of mash them up with my hands, just crush them up and make the stewed tomatoes. But my gosh, over the years, I have discovered I like diced tomatoes. So, even when they're on sale. When they're on sale, I buy them. I don't care if I got a whole pantry full of them. When they're on sale, I buy them. And we go through a lot. Our family goes through a lot of tomatoes, a lot of spaghetti sauce, a lot of tomato juice. I even make V8 juice. The only thing I do not make, because my family does not like homemade, is ketchup. They prefer the Heinz. And me, I don't eat enough ketchup to even warrant making my homemade, To me, ketchup is ketchup. Doesn't matter whether it's Heinz or whatever. Spartan, I don't care. But some things, they're brand loyal to. Ketchup is one of them. My mother, if she was here, this is her favoriteest thing to do, is chop. She'd have all these chopped. She'll stand here for hours and just chop. And by the way, her hip is fantastic. She feels wonderful. She's like, what now? About a week out from her surgery, week and a half. She's doing wonderful. She started back to mowing her grass and playing out in her yard, getting things ready for, buttoned up for winter. She's doing wonderful. She feels good. She feels like a new woman. No more pain in her hip. She said she had so much pain in that hip, she thought she was just going to go nuts. You can only take so much pain before it's time to get something done. Something's got to give. These will be wonderful in the middle of the winter, I tell you. You can never have enough tomatoes in your pantry. I love stocking for my pantry. Now, I should have been doing this last month. But last month, I had my grandbabies full time. And there's no way. You can't do this. Maybe the younger women can with a house full of kids, but I can't. Makes me crazy. And I can't have them near my canner because that makes me nervous. And the older I get, the worse I am with it. So, I almost can't have anybody near me when I'm canning. My husband helps me a little bit, and then I shoo him out of the way, okay. Go watch a movie or something. He calls it holiday, but his truck is in the shop, and God knows how long it's going to be in there. And I went down to Indiana last week and picked him up. Tracy and I did. Oh, that was quite the ride. I decided to leave at 7 o'clock at night for a 5-hour trip to Indiana, but I'm used to driving. Papa, these are ready for some more. Just don't burn yourself. I'm videoing. He's already got battle scars from canning. Yesterday he took our food out of the oven and he went to put the tray on top of my empty jars. Well, I don't know what he did. He burnt his belly on a jar or the edge of the oven, something, and then he fumbled the tray and he burnt his fingers and just all kinds of sorts of disaster. A disaster in the kitchen. Can't you say hi?
Hi.
Hi, hello, he says. Hello. Look at here. This is doing good. Let me mix this up. Where's my big... Oh, there it is. Let me bring you over here and I'll show this. I'll show you this. Look at there. Look at there. And all my goodies are on the bottom. What you want to do? My hands are clean. I just get in here and I mix it all up because all that good... See it coming up? All the onion and the celery and the garlic. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's all the stuff that I grew in my garden. Except the garlic. I want to plant garlic this fall. I would love to put some in. Look at it. Isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous. Sometimes you just got to get in there with your hands and get it done. Let's put this back up here because I love the way that works. That's a heavy duty. I got this. I did a video on it too. It looked like a disaster when I bought this big old stock pot. I paid $10 for it at a yard sale. It looked like it went through hell and back. But I come home, I cleaned it all up. I did a video on cleaning it too. And each time I use it for tomatoes, it gets shinier and prettier. Perfect. I had a couple of them that didn't seem like they were in there long enough. The skins were hard to peel. We don't got too many more. Probably 2 more loads. Don't touch it, you'll burn yourself. Oh, I thank you for helping me with that. I got a good hubby, friends. He's a doll. What do you always say to me?
Yes, my bride.
No. He says, I'm just a man. He's a good man. I'm just a man, he says. All right. I'm going to peel these. Put more in there? Yeah. I'll start getting these peeled up. And we'll keep right on the going. We don't have too many left. I love it when they peel right off there. Okay, look, I got my mess all cleaned up. My kitchen sink and my dishes are done. I like to do that. I like to do that as I go. Now, I don't know if you can see this. We'll bring you up here real careful. So I don't jerk you all around. Pull you up, put you down, and you can see that. This is huge. This is a 22 quart stock pot, and it's all stainless. I love this thing. So we're just going to let this come up to a boil, and then we're just going to cook it. Not at a boil, but you know, a heavy simmer for about 10 minutes. That'll soften up a lot of those veggies in there. The celery. And then we're going to can that. And I'll show you that. But for right now, you're not going to see me, but you are going to see what I'm doing here. Maybe. It's not the brightest. This thing is my Ninja that my daughter gave to me. Bless her little heart. Okay? These are all my tomato skins. Let me back you up here so you can see what I'm doing. These are all my tomato skins. I am just going to, and they're clean. They're beautiful. I'm just going to stuff them in here. Every bit. As much as I think I can get them all in here. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe. Looks like we might. Okay. Put that down in there. We're going to put this lid on. Okay, now hold on. I got a mess. I had to dump some of the juice out of there for it to fit. Look at there. Gotta clean that up. Wipe this down. I cleaned this out last night, but I still see I got some tomatoes in there. Tomato skins. I want that nice and clean. Okay. We're going to put this on here. Hear the click? I'm going to plug this daddy in. This is going to be loud, but you see what I got here. I'm going to mute this clip, and I'm going to let you see how this does. Oh, maybe I won't need to. It's not that loud. It's a smart blend. Isn't that amazing? Now while that's blending, I'm going to get out my stuff from here. Beautiful. Okay, I'm unplugging it. Now watch this. This stuff is wonderful. These are all just strictly tomato skins. Look how thick that is. Just look at that. I think I'm going to blend it one more time. But look how thick that is. It hardly moves. It's like a Frosty at Dairy Queen. Or a Blizzard. We're going to put this on one more time. Okay. Here we go. Now it's definitely ground. Beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous. That is thick and beautiful. Watch. Look at how thick that is. Now that's going to go right in there. I'm not wasting any of that. Definitely gonna scrape this out because we are gonna, when our freeze dryer comes in, we're gonna freeze dry this and turn it into a powder so that I can use it for thickeners, you know, for soups and stews and sauces, whatever. This stuff is beautiful. I've got 1 gallon bag already ground and in the freezer. I did that last night. That's it. That is all that takes. Look at how beautiful this is. Gotta wash this off. Beautiful. Just take a look at that. Gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, this is going to go into the freezer just like that, flat on my tray, and I freeze it flat and it's wonderful. So let me get my mess here cleaned up and we'll get to doing these stewed tomatoes and I'll be back. Okay, friends, Everybody always asks me, do you acidify your tomatoes? Because we don't see you put it in the jars, you know. No, I don't put it in the jars. I'm going to show you what I do. Try to get this open. I usually put regular lemon juice. See it? I put in this big pot that I got here, I put about 1.5 cups. That's it. That, friends, is how I do it. Mix that all around in there while it's cooking, and you've got it made. And that saves you time from having to add it to every single jar. Mix that up real good. Oh, for heaven's sakes, just set them right there. Set them right here. Your brownie jars. All right. Let me get my jars washed. I got these ones to get in the oven. These ones are already done and sanitized. I'll be back. Okay, friends. So this has been going for about 15 minutes since it boiled. I turned it down. So now we're going to start filling our jars. Actually, I'm going to slide this over if I can. Beautiful. And I just fill all the jars first. And these you do, I know there's a lot of liquid in here, but I'm still going to debubble them just to be safe. Because bubbles can not only cause siphoning, but they can, oh look at that. See, when you get it a little too full like that, this is all you got to do, is just take a little bit out. Stick it in the next one. There you go. I said bubbles not only cause siphoning, but they can harbor bacteria. That's not a good thing. So we just debubble it. If it was a little more liquid, my sauce I don't. It's enough liquid, it don't really need to be debubbled. And this is a little too much in here too. I'm on overdrive, I guess. Take that out of there. Perfect. Okay. Here we go. I couldn't do that again if I tried. That was perfect. See how beautiful this is? I'm so excited because this is the celery that I grew in my garden. Now I sold quite a bit. I sold, this is probably half of my celery because I did sell. It was so cute, I sold some of it. And one gal come by and she was talking about, she says, is that celery? And I told her to taste one of the leaves. Yes, it's celery. And she says, oh, I'd love to try. So I told her, I said, well, just take a little bundle and give it a try. And if you like it, you know where to come get it. Well, the next day she come back and she bought everything I had out there. All the celery I had. Okay. All right. We're going to take, and I always, let me wash this up. Okay, we're just gonna give these a little bit of a debubble. Looks perfect. You can use chopsticks. I've used my metal knife before, but very carefully, you know. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But this is my magnet thing for my lids. I never use it for my lids. You don't have to boil your lids anymore, so there's no need for me to use this anymore for that, but I found another purpose for it. Alright, now we're going to wipe those off. And I'm just going to use a damp paper towel. But always make sure you wipe them off. Make sure you debubble and wipe your rims. Obviously, if you're canning something that's all liquid, you don't need to debubble it. But tomatoes and vegetables and stuff like this can harbor those air bubbles, and that's just not a good thing. Okay, now you know you don't have to boil these. Oh, I got a lot of wide mouth ones. You don't have to boil these lids anymore. But try not to touch that sealing compound. That wouldn't be a good thing. Just center that right on there. Okay. Put the ring on, finger tight. I'm going to set it over here to get ready for the canner. That's hot. Finger tight. And I know I look like I'm cranking it down, but it's only because I got arthritis so bad in my thumbs that it just looks that way. It really is just finger tight. I've got these real old Atlas jars. See where it says Atlas on there? These are probably 50 years old. They work good. Okay, and these are ready for the canner. Okay, friends, I've got this. Oh, I've got my last 7 quarts in my canner. I've already got 30 quarts that I've done, cleaned, washed up and labeled and put in my pantry. I got all these here, and I'm pooped. I've got a lot done in the midst of some bad news, which I will be sharing with you in a chit chat. So altogether, I've got 72 quarts out of the 3 bushel. Well, not quite 3 bushel, I don't think. I should have got more. But anyway, I've got 72 quarts that we can put up in our pantry. Thank you to my daughter, Susie. And we're good. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a chit chat.